You're welcome back to Morning Ireland. It's 8 minutes to 8 o'clock. Adam is here again with the business.
Thanks, Rachel. 202 new office buildings providing 120 million square feet of space are planned for Dublin by 2021, but only half of that's likely to be delivered. That's according to the latest Skyline survey from property advisors Savills. Roland O'Connell is chairman of Savills and he joins me now to talk through that survey. First of all, that massive slippage between what's planned and what is actually going to be delivered, why is that? Is it because maybe there's a lack of demand or a softening in demand?
No, not at all. It's quite common, it's a feature of all development cycles, Adam, that there is slippage of this type. In the current market, a lot of it is because the developers can't get finance. So the well-funded developers are the ones that get on site and get ahead. And when somebody gets on site, it makes it more difficult for the next guy to get financing because there's more competition ahead of him. So this is something that we see in every development cycle. It's not unusual this time around. And indeed, you want more people to want to get on site than actually do, because it means that there's somebody to come on and replace the guy who's built ahead of them.
If there is high demand, why are people reluctant to finance? Is there a concern maybe things are getting overheated?
Yeah, I think there's always a concern at any stage when people are lending money or putting money into development that they want to know that the demand is there into the future. But the great thing is that we've seen that there's been a huge growth of employment which has developed that demand for office space. Luckily, we've had enough offices coming on stream to meet that. But over 50% of the offices which are under construction at the moment are bespoke, so they've already either been pre-let or are in legals. And the level of demand still within the market is very strong. So we don't see overdevelopment happening in the short term. Inevitably, due to the way markets work, there are cycles and there will be an oversupply, but we don't see it in the short term.
Is some of this because of the Brexit issue and maybe we haven't seen the huge influx of companies that might have been expected as a result of Brexit? So these office blocks that were planned in that context are being pared back a little bit?
There is some effect from Brexit, but our view on Brexit had always been that rather than it being an avalanche of demand overnight, that we would see gradual demand. And we see that a lot of companies have investigated coming to Ireland, but are sitting on their hands until they see what kind of Brexit develops. And that's still the case. None of us are any the clearer. We expect that once Brexit is finalised, that over a period of years following that you'll see a gradual transition of jobs outside the UK and certainly some of them coming to Ireland.
What about the rest of the country? We hear a lot about the office development in Dublin. What's happening in other cities and towns around Ireland?
Well, we've seen a worldwide cycle which has been, trend which has been repeated in Dublin of a shift back towards city centre development. And Cork is really exciting at the moment. At the beginning of the development cycle, 1 Albert Quay, which is a fantastic building, was completed by John Cleary Developments, fully let. There's been a little bit of a gap, but now there are a number of schemes coming on track in the city centre in Cork. Navigation Square is under construction and 75% of that is spoken for. Horgan's Quay beside Kent Station has 400,000 square foot planning permission and will be going to the site shortly. John Cleary again has applied for permission on Penrose Quay. So there's a lot of exciting stuff happening in Cork, so watch that space. And indeed, there's plenty of demand. Limerick 2030 are behind a new development in the city, which is due for completion this summer. And again, a lot of that is bespoke and we'll go on to others. Galway is one where we're lacking new development, and there's plenty of demand in Galway, but we just need to see more development there.
Roland O'Connell, chairman of Savills, thank you very much for that. More business news in the next hour. For now, they're back to you, Gavin.
Adam.